everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cinnamon Stitches. I am your yarn host, Jennifer. Today is Friday. Friday, we show all of the yarny goodness. I call it Yarn Porn Fridays. Now, this week, I drove back up north, and I got this really cute bag. This is how we roll. Man, Joann's has the cutest freaking bags. This was the bag I got last week, and no, I didn't put this yarn away yet. Isn't that cute? Big giant bag. Well, I didn't need that big giant bag this week. I didn't buy a whole lot, so I just needed a little bag. And this bag is so cute. Alright, so the reason we went back up north to the big Joann's, the fabulous yarn wall Joann's, was because Juju, and actually I'm going to pull up a picture to show you because I got a picture of just the yarn wall. Because it was beautiful, and that's not the right part of my phone. I went into the wrong app. Juju had seen the, see, that's their beautiful yarn wall. That's another view of it. And that's me being super happy at the store. So, yeah. Joann's had the beads that Juju uses, on sale for $10, which they never, even Black Friday, the sale was not that good. I think Black Friday they had 3 for $10. So this was 4 for $10. Amazing deal on her beads. So she was able to get some more of the spiders created. She made the most beautiful Valentine's themed spiders. She's working really hard at trying, they take her a long time. So like it's hours of sitting there making the spiders. So like, be patient with her. I know that she's had a couple people that are like, hey, I want this. Hey, I want that. Hey, I want that. She's working on it, I promise. She is. But she's also goes to school. She also, like, has other things going on in her life. Be patient. She's getting to it. I know you guys are excited. So, I'm going to leave this bag flat so I can see what I'm doing. I didn't intend on buying anything. And I was actually going to look at that new Landscapes Light. Is it Landscapes Light? That real beautiful lightly colored rainbow yarn that I'm in love with. And I was like, I'm going to give it a second shot and see if I can touch it. And I picked it up and I can't touch it. I cannot touch the yarn and it's beautiful and I want it, but I cannot work with it. And I told Juju, I said, it's so beautiful and I want it so bad, but I know that I'm not going to be able to use it because it just sticks to my skin like Velcro. So I had to leave it back in the store even though it's so pretty. I just know that I won't be able to use it. It's horrible the way it sticks to my skin. So I was like, all right, well, what else do they have? And little man was persistent. He wanted fabric. Last time we were there, he wanted fabric. And I was like, what do you need fabric for? What do you need fabric for? But he gets things set in his mind and he's just absolutely determined. There is no talking his child out of what he's determined he's gonna do. So we went over and looked at the fabric, and what I didn't realize last time we were there, they had seasonal fabric on sale for 70% off. So it's last year's fabric designs, and they had tons to choose from. Tons. He wanted something Americana, so he picked up this awful white fabric with just flags on it. And I was like, yeah, it was only $2 a yard, but it was ugly. It was not cute fabric. Like, what are you going to do with that? Well, I can make a pillow or I can make a bag to hold my stuff. He loves bags. So I've made him a couple of project bags and he just shoves stuff in it and carries it around the house. And depending on the bag, it will differ what is in his project bag, okay? He will sometimes carry electronics around it in his bag. Or other times he puts his Rubik's Cubes in there because he has a big Rubik's Cube and he has a little tiny Rubik's Cube that's this big. And he has a Rubik's Cube that is actually an electronic game where you have to push buttons on the different sides, kind of like a Simon type game. And so he put all those in one of his project bags. Or he has a couple of Magic 8 Balls. He has a big Magic 8 Ball that used to be Juju's. And then he has a miniature Magic 8 Ball. So he'll put those together. Like, he puts like things together in his project bags. Which is fine by me because he leaves stuff all over the house. And he don't put nothing away. Like, I'm glad that he has project bags because I can put his stuff in the project bag and tell him, take this crap upstairs to your bedroom, right? I'm perfectly fine with that. So I talked him out of the American flag and I showed him this one instead, which is far more cute. And there was only 1.25 yards left. And so I bought the extra 1/4 yard instead of them having to make scrap. And it's sparkly. And it's got the cutest little Americana popsicles on here, which he loves popsicles. So I was like, we're going to make a bag out of this. I have a couple of different Americana fabrics in my fabric rack. Including this one, which is fireworks. So, like, I have bag liner. So, I can work on that. But I told him, I was like, you're going to learn how to use this sewing machine. Which he's already used the sewing machine a couple of times before, but I got to watch him because with his ADHD, like, his brain is all over the place. And I don't want him to just accidentally stick his finger in there because he's pushing on the pedal looking at his foot. Because I know that he will do it. So what we might do is Mommy will control the pedal while we work together to get the fabric put through. But I want him to learn to use that sewing machine. Because that is a really handy thing to know. Mr. Cinnamon has asked me 100 times to fix his pants. It's always his pants. Can you fix the hem? Can you fix the zipper? I ripped my butt open. Like, can you fix the seat of my pants? I'm constantly fixing this man's pants. And if he just knew how to use the sewing machine, I wouldn't have to do it. So little man is going to learn how to use a sewing machine. And he's very excited about that. On top of him learning how to make robots with his dad. So that was his fabric. It was like $2 a yard. And there's just over 1 yard here. And I said, whatever does not go into his bag, Mommy is keeping. And he paid for this fabric himself with his allowance. So I just paid for the extra half a yard or 1/4 yard. So then I was like, okay, they had Halloween fabric, a ton of fall fabric. They had Christmas fabric left over. They had the summer fabric. All of the fabric from last year, they're trying to get rid of is 70% off. So I'm standing there and I saw this fabric. And I was like, I need that fabric. You guys know I love Americana. I love the whole red pickup truck thing. And I was like, this is such a cute fabric. I need it. And Juju, who usually is like, yeah, Mom, you should get that for yourself, was like, you don't need it. What are you going to do with that fabric? It's just going to go on your rack. Well, that's not your business. I want it. Like, I want it. It's cute. And then what I noticed is Bentley is on here. So I needed the fabric even more. And Juju's like, Mom, you don't need it. She's kind of irritated because she just wanted to go look at beads. And I'm looking at the fabric, right? And it's got watermelons on here, which I love watermelons. And look at Bentley's right here. Bentley's running right here, causing problems. Like, it's just cute fabric. It's so me. It's so me. And so I was like, I'm just in love. See, there's another Bentley. And I needed it. It's Bentley, it's Americana. It's just me, right? And she's like, no. So Mr. Cinnamon walks up with Little Man. And I was like, can I show you something really cute? And that's how I'm cute with him when I do that. I was like, can I show you something? And he's all, yeah. I was like, okay, but this fabric is, look at that. He's all, so get it. I was like, Juju says I shouldn't get it because it's just going to go on my rack. He said, so? Says the man that has no problem with my yarn stash. I was like, okay, thank you. And she's all, really, Mom? I was like, yes. So I was like, okay, well, let's get some more fabric because I need it. And then I found a Christmas one that is the same aesthetic and it has Bentley on it. So it has, not only does it have Bentley on it, but it has Blue Jays on it. And I love birds. I am a total twitcher. I am a bird watcher. Oh, it's got cardinals too. Okay, so cardinals totally represent my mother. My mother loved cardinals. I have a cardinal on my Christmas tree that represents my mother. And the Blue Jays is also a funny story because the house we lived in, we were surrounded by trees. We had 5 trees in our yard and we had a very small yard and they were big trees. So the majority of our yard was either shade or tree trunk. We had 2 in the front yard and there was 1, 2, 3 in the backyard. One wasn't actually in our yard, but it was like up against the fence, so it was kind of in our yard. I mean, the branches covered the whole backyard. We had no sun back there. And there were blue jays in one of the trees, and my mom, she would hang clothes out all the time to save on the bills, you know. She would wash the clothes and then hang them on the line, and when she would go out there, there was a blue jay nest, and they would attack you. So we were not allowed in the backyard at all that summer because the blue jays would attack you because they had a nest, you know. And so, like, I have a special place for blue jays in my heart because that makes me laugh, but also they're really mean. Like, blue jays are mean. They're mean birds. So I just think this is the cutest little fabric. I'm going to open it up so you guys get a better idea of what it looks like. It's so cute. It's got bags of presents and that cute little red pickup truck and Bentley and the birds. And I love the Bentley's in there. So I got a Christmas one, and these were all about $2 or $3 a yard. So I got a yard of everything that I'm showing you. And then Juju wanted this one. Juju is in love with this one, and I very gladly bought it for her. So it is Halloween pinups, and we got, I'm guessing she's a witch. The cowgirl's got bullet holes in her legs. We got the nurse, they all have brains. So, well, the cowgirl doesn't have brains. Marilyn Monroe looking one has brains. Then there's this one. So she wanted the pinup girl Halloween one. So I was like, okay, well, what do you want made out of that? She's all, I don't know. She just wanted it. So I'm like, all right, well, figure out what you want to make out of that. So the child that was giving me a hard time about fabric got her own fabric. And then I got this one because it was so cute. I love Christmas lights and I love gnomes. Let it snow. Let it snow. So snow gnome. And then last but not least, the Jetsons. They had a ton of stuff like this, 70% off. They had the Jetsons. They had a couple that were the Simpsons, which Juju really likes the Simpsons. I used to love the Simpsons, but now I'm like, it's been around since I was like 10. I'm good. They had SNL, Saturday Night Live. They had, I don't even remember what else, but the Jetsons, like, I love the Jetsons growing up, first of all. But when Juju was little, the Jetsons movie was something I watched a lot as a teenager. Like, we had it on VHS. And so we watched the Jetsons movie a lot. And when Juju was a baby, she was a child, we watched it a lot. Like, she loved the Jetsons. And there's some good music. There's some good music in the Jetsons movie. So, I had to get this because I think it's so cute. The idea for a lot of these fabrics is just to make project bags for myself. I have made them and I have sold them in the shop in the past, but it's something I tend to do for myself because I like having lots of project bags. I know how to make them. I don't think that I make them well enough to keep selling them. It's not that they're not bad. It's just like I've seen other really fancy bags. I've received as gifts really fancy bags where people put like all this extra effort into it. And I just make a basic sack because that's what I prefer. And I know that that's not everybody's cup of tea, you know, but like that's what I prefer. And then I did buy some yarn. I bought another of the Jiffy because I really love the Jiffy. And the color I got last week was a, let me find it. Color I got last week was this beautiful seafoam green. And so this week I got the color Arrow, which is like a, it's a gray, but it's not, it's like a cold gray, not like a warm gray. And so, hello, do those not go beautiful together? So, I got those because I really like the Jiffy yarn. Like I said in the last video when I showed the seafoam green one, I really like Jiffy yarn. I used Jiffy when I first started crocheting like 5 years ago. I used to find little balls of Jiffy at the thrift store all the time. and I've used it in several projects. I like the way it works up. I think it's a nice, soft, squishy yarn. I love the halo effect on it. I just like working with it. And because it's a bulky 5, like it works up kind of fast. So I got the arrow color. And then I had never even heard of this Big Twist Classic. I'm sure that they have it, but I tend to stay away from the value yarn aisle at Joann's because unless I need something specific, because it's mostly Red Heart Super Saver. We know how I feel about Red Heart Super Saver. Not that I'm dogging on it, I just can't use it, okay? And so I tend to stay away from a lot of the value yarn aisle just because I'm looking for what's new and exciting and unique and colorful, and I don't do a lot of solid colors. But what drew me to this came from Affordably Crafty. She had quite a few people say that the Jiffy was comparable to the Big Twist Classic, and she actually did a review on it. The review aired, I think, Sunday. I'm recording this on Monday, so like I'm way behind. Sunday, I think the 22nd or something like that. So she did a review, and she does really good, thorough reviews, very honest reviews. I don't think that these are I agree with her opinions. I don't think that they're very similar. The balls are the same, and the twist of the yarn looks similar or the same. The Jiffy has way more of a halo, at least comparing it to this Big Twist Classic. However, the variegated is a whole different story. So this is still Big Twist Classic. It's the same yarn, but this is the variegated. And this is so much more fuzzier. This fuzziness is along the same level of the Jiffy. So it's thinner though. It is definitely thinner, but they have the same level of floof on them. So I'll talk about that in a minute. I've never used, touched, or I don't think I've even seen this at my local store. But I was like, okay, let's do prices a little bit. This is regularly, the Jiffy is $19.99 regular. I will never pay $99 for this, ever. However, it has been on sale for the past several weeks. The sign at that Joann says that it's 30% off or 40% off last week. However, they've been giving it to me for 50% off. So I don't know if that is an error at Joann's or if what is happening, but I only paid $9.99 for this. So I paid half off. So half off, I'll pay $10 for this as a big ball. This regularly is $10. So like that makes sense, right? Because this is 644 yards. This one is 681 yards. Okay. This is soft and squishy, and it kind of reminds me of a thinner version of the Serenity Chunky. And I would totally pair these up together, right? So, I love really big balls of yarn. Like, okay, and it's squishy, and it's soft and luscious. And this was on sale for $5.99 for the big old thing. So, yes, please. So, we'll put that there. So, I got one of those, and then I got two of these. These were all the Big Twist Classics. Were $5.99. And I really, really like baby colored yarns, but I like making myself things with baby colored yarns, not necessarily baby items. So I really bought this to make myself something because it's so pretty and pastel-y and gorgeous and a little bit fuzzy, and just, it reminds me of the Jiffy a lot, but it is thinner. So this is more along the lines of, I would say, a 4-weight. And actually Kim's from Affordably Crafty, her review of the Big Twist Classic kind of said the same thing as like this is closer to a 4-weight than a 5-weight. But like, I have no problem mixing 4-weights and 5-weights together. Like, that's not a problem for me. But look at how fuzzy that is. You see the halo? And this is the Jiffy. Again, that real fluffy halo. But the regular Classic, not the variegated, has barely a halo at all. So I don't know what that's about. But they're all soft, they're all squishy, and $5.99 for this big old ball, and the variegated only has 420 yards in it, but that's common with variegated. But I also had a really good time again. Once again, that store in Sterling, Virginia is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. I'm done going up there for a while because, you know, I'm gonna drive myself to the poorhouse if I don't calm down a little bit with that store. But I had a lot of fun, and like $2-3 a yard for fabric, you cannot beat that. And once again, Mr. Cinnamon and Little Man sat at their little tables and had their complimentary beverages. And I have more projects on my slate than I have time to do them with all this fabric. I still need to crochet, or not crochet. I still need to sew up my curtains, which by the time you see this video, which will be Friday, because like I said, I'm recording this on Monday, my curtain should be up and hung up and finished by then, because I actually had write it in my planner to actually sit down and sew them. But while I'm editing and uploading videos, I can sew at the same time. So I got time to actually sit down and work on things. I just need to clean my desk off again because there's stuff all over it again. I cleaned it off just to mess it up again. So, alright. I'm going to let you guys go, and I will see you next week. There's not a members video this weekend because I did a live on Wednesday. So, I will see you guys, I'll see everyone on Monday for Monday Makes, and hopefully I have Bentley's blanket done by then. Because I'm working with that. That's going to be a really nice blanket. And I was crocheting it up because I'm working with the Serenity Ombre, which is discontinued. And I was working it up, I was like, first of all, I hope I have enough yarn to finish the blanket. And second of all, I was like, this is so beautiful. It almost is too good for a dog. But I did intend on it being for him. And that yarn has been in my stash for about 2-3 years now. And it's time for it to get put to a use, whether it be a dog blanket or not. And I know that he's going to snag it up a little bit with his little paws. But other than that, I don't think he's going to like shred it or tear it up. He might get it dirty with his paws, but I want him to have a nice little blanket to sleep with, because he likes to sleep on top of a blanket, but he doesn't like to be under the blanket, whereas Scarlett has to be under the blanket because she's a little sissy dog. She's such a princess. Like Juju, that dog is spoiled. And Oreo sometimes wants to be covered, sometimes she doesn't want to be covered, and like the 3 dogs are just always keeping me on my toes. But if you have, and you don't have to travel to Sterling, Virginia to get a Super Joann's. The way I found this store was I was told about it from a employee at my local Joann's, and then a couple of you were like, I know exactly where that store is. It's in Sterling, Virginia. It's my local store. And I was like, hey, like, I'm going. But I have also had lots and lots of comments that there are stores like this Joann store throughout the country. You just have to look for Big Joann, like this. How I googled it, I was like Big Joann's Virginia, and that store popped up. And if you go to Google and you type in Joann's and you broaden your search to a wider area, you can actually, a lot of times people will take pictures of the store and post it on Google so you see what the inside of the store looks like before you even go. And there's always information on Google, so just search Big Joann's or Joann's Superstore, or Joann's Yarn Wall, and you should be able to find a Joann's that's probably closer to your house than a 12-hour drive. Because I think there's one in Ohio. I think there is one in somewhere in the New England area, I believe someone said. So there are Big Joann's across the country. It would be fantastic if all Joann's were like that. Like my local Joann's is very just okay. And then there's another Joann's that's in Culpeper that is very small and reminds me of like an old Woolworth. It's very tiny and like they don't have a whole lot of anything. But I like going in there because it's quaint, and it's quiet. But I really like the Big Joann's. I love the idea of being able to go in there and sit down and look at pattern books, or go in there and sit down and really think about my yarn purchase. Because that's what I did, is I sat at the table with Mr. Cinnamon after I got my fabric cut, and I was showing him the fabrics, and I told him, I was like, well, I'm not getting any yarn. Like I was thinking about getting another Jiffy He's all, so go get one. And I was like, but they're $10. He's all, yeah, but how much are they regular? I was like, 20. He said, so go get one. And I was like, but like, I don't really need any more yarn. He's all, Jen, just go get it. I was like, all right, I'll be right back. And then I came back with all 4 of those skeins of yarn. But then I sat back at the table and we all sat at the table for a few minutes and we chatted about what I was buying and why I was buying it. And he's all, are you going to use that? I was like, yeah, because it's bulky. And right now I'm totally into the bulky yarns. And I normally don't like bulky yarns. But I made a couple of blankets out of the bulky yarns. And I was like, oh, okay, that was fun and quick. And I liked it. And so now I'm like starting to use some bulky yarns. And because it's like so cold outside right now, like I can use bulky yarn and have it sit on top of me. Whereas in the summertime, I can't crochet or knit anything heavy because it gets too hot here. It gets way too hot here. Our high temperatures and the humidity is very similar to how hot it gets in Florida. I mean, it gets very hot and humid here. And it's not what I'm used to, so like I'm sweating bullets. I don't want to be touching anything like that's heavy or hot. Which is why you guys see me in tank tops so often, because even when it's winter, like I'm hot a lot. Although lately I've been really cold. My hands are always cold, my feet are always cold. But yeah. So next week, I actually am going to film another video for next week today, because I ordered something from Mary Maxim and I really wanted to show you guys because I'm excited about it. It's just a very small haul, but I saw some things from Mary Maxim that I really was excited to purchase, and so I'm going to pre-film that today. I have filmed a lot of videos today, and then throughout the week I'm just going to, you know, edit and upload as time permits while I'm doing other things. And yeah, so you're going to see this shirt one more time at least. Actually, you're going to see it. You're going to see a lot more than one. I love this new shirt. It's so pretty. I sat down and I was like, I thought in my head, I was like, I should probably change my shirt before I sit down to eat. And then I no sooner sat down, I got the first bite and I dripped just a little bit right here. And I was like, I knew it. I knew it. And Juju's like, why are you eating in that shirt? I cannot eat a light colored shirt. I cannot do it. I swear I need a bib. I swear, because everything lands right here. Everything. But yeah, I'm gonna let you go. I will see you guys Monday, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I hope you, if you can't afford to buy yarn, I hope at least you have a yarn that you really enjoy working with in your hands while you're watching this or throughout the weekend. And I hope you do something fun or something that just makes your soul happy, even if it's just sitting and crocheting and eating some snacks. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.